I figured we'd have another sermon from the book of Dadism about how modern dating sucks and what you can do about it. And the answer is not that much, because it turns out that pretty much at this point, everything is deeply degenerate and not worth the time. So these are just
going?
Exactly. Where's this going, right? These are just things. This again is another life warning, right? Now, I'm not saying that these are bad people, that they've done anything wrong or anything like that. What I'm saying is they've acted against their own best interests. And as a father, I would only ever advise my children in their best interest. And that might sometimes not be very nice. Sometimes it might be tough love. And if I think that that's what young people today need, then that's what you're going to get. So let's begin with OnlyFans. Ladies, don't ever. If you would go and star in a porn movie or be a prostitute, then do OnlyFans. If you wouldn't, don't even think about it, because it's exactly the same morally to the men who want to date you and who you want to date. Right? So this just, screenshots going around, but you see, I've seen these like floating around on various different platforms and various different groups, and so there must be something to them that resonate with the people who share them, because they're shared so many times, and that's the only metric I've been using to see whether these are valid or not. But I think they are. And so this first one, it's so wild when men publicly announce they would never date a girl who does OnlyFans. So like, you don't want to date a girl who's attractive, sexually adventurous, business savvy, and will provide you with hundreds of high quality nudes? Weird flex, but okay, you weak source control freak. Deal with it, prostitute, is the answer to that. Because yes, that's exactly it. You do not want a girl who literally sends pictures of her own asshole to random men on the internet if they pay her enough money. That's not what you want, right? The whole point of this, right, and the reason that you're so upset about this is because you can sit there and go, yeah, but wouldn't each one of these things in isolation be nice? You want a girl who's attractive? Sure. Sexually adventurous? Sure. Business savvy? Sure. Provide you with hundreds of high quality nudes? Yeah. Me, the husband, the partner, yeah, that is all nice. But that's not what you're doing, is it? That's absolutely not what you're doing. What you're doing is paying for your lifestyle, essentially burning up your sort of social credit that nature imbues you with as a young woman for a presumably large amount of money easily gained. However, you do sacrifice something important, and that's the concept of exclusivity. Because that's really what men are looking for from a woman. They want all of these things, but just for themselves, from just you. It's an exclusive relationship, and that's how it should be. That's what men want. And men do not generally want just the woman that literally they can walk into a restaurant with and know that every single man in that restaurant has seen that woman's vagina. That's not very exclusive, and that's not really what they're after.
Imagine walking in a restaurant like with a girl you're dating, and just guys come up and be like, "Oh, great, I love your stuff.
Love your OnlyFans. Love your OnlyFans. I'm going to sign up to the premium tier now." You'd be like,
be pretty weird.
It'd be awful, right? This is again no exclusivity at all here. And the thing is, right, this is the most special aspect of the relationship. It's the fact that someone chose you and you chose them, and you build a bond that's unique and something that can't be shared with someone else. And so, like, these copes from the OnlyFans prostitutes are just that, just a massive cope. And I love the cope from the cucks who date the women who are on OnlyFans as well. If we can go to the next one, John. I love this, right? Your girlfriend sends news, Lamau, I could buy some. Please do, you're funding our dates. Wow. So that's amazing. When I used to pick up my fiancée from the strip club, guys would be saying they got a lap dance off my woman. I'd say, yeah, ain't she great? Thanks for the rent, guys. Right? Two massive problems. Two massive problems, right? Just because you, the cuck, is slightly higher on the ladder of respectability than the simp doesn't mean that you can brag about it, because you're still a cuck, right? But secondly, why aren't you paying the bills? You losers. You absolute losers. She's not in... Like, you shouldn't be leeching off a woman as a man. And again, a sermon from the book of Dadism. You should be the breadwinner. Not in all cases, not in all times, but most of the time. In most cases. Don't suck up the money from your woman. There's a question of self-respect here, right? Saying, well, I'm slightly higher than the simps on the cuck-simp hierarchy is not good enough, okay? It's just not good enough.
Because it's weird, isn't it? Because it's not... I mean, I agree with you before we're getting to it on the fact that this is obviously the problem with exclusivity.
Again, cope.
But like, it's not like your lady friend here is having sex with other people or anything, but they're just seeing her but everyone knows that, yeah, those are comparable. I mean, those are definitely comparable. I mean, there's this guy here, this guy saying that, isn't it wonderful that our dates are being funded by you guys? I mean, to other women, is this guy attractive? Is he respectable? I mean, this individual man.
Hey, I can get this guy who's going to leech off my earning potential, and then I'll take him out and pay for his dinners. That's hardly something. Yeah, Vicky, no. No.
Do you want to date this guy? I mean,
yeah. Hey, Matt Hickling here is gonna use your lap dance money for rent, Vicky. Are you not up for that? No, not your... Right, okay. Well, Matt, there you've been told.
God, could you imagine dating a girl and being like, yeah, I'm not going to work, you're going to do lap dances. God, that is a pimp. Yeah, exactly. That is a small business pimp.
So yeah, they're effectively cucks and pimps at the same time, which is deeply unimpressive, I would say. But again, like it's about your own self-respect as a man. Sitting there going, ha ha, I'm using my girlfriend's prostitution money to get food. Oh, burn. I mean, you owned me, dude. I just, pay for the house and the food and the rent and then take my wife and kids on holiday
also,
because I'm the earner in the family and not you, not my wife, How ignoble.
I'm just thinking in my mind, like, let's say there's a guy subscribing to this, one of the guys who is subscribed to this guy, what is that, Tom Zom? I don't know how you say it. Who is subscribing to her nudes, and then he's like, yeah, you're funding our dates, and he's like, yeah, that's lovely, I'm going to go home with my wife now, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So anyway, moving on. So what happens is, at the end of all of this, is that obviously relationships have generally been broken down, and this is not good. I've got the wrong clip, sorry. I was a bit ahead of myself there. Right. So the problem for the sort of the men in this, and sorry women to constantly be going on at you, but I'll be going on at men in a second as well, right? So the problem that the men have with women is that there seems to be a massive double standard in society, that things are asked of men, but not actually asked of women. And when you say, well, you can't shame a woman for doing OnlyFans, yeah, I can. Watch me. The question is, can you stop me, right? But it's not only one way. But anyway, let's watch this clip. This is great.
Oh yeah, the abs, nice.
What's your type?
Oh yeah, the abs, nice skin, tall.
Okay. What about you? Man, I like me something real slim. You know what I'm saying? I like me something big bone. Real slim.
Oh, that's body shaming.
Tell me how you just said the same thing I did. So how's that body shaming? Respectfully.
Cause guys don't have feelings. Like, this is why I can't fuck with guys. We body shaming all these girls. You gotta look nice for your girl.
All right, but you know what? Double standards. Jada Pickett. That's all I'm gonna say. Respectfully. Champagne.
I mean, if this is what men in California have to deal with, I am not surprised that there is a massive problem with relationships at the moment. Like, can you imagine even considering dating someone like that?
I mean, they're not wrong, though. That's a widespread opinion, which is just like, I want a man like this, this, this. And then you're like, yeah, I don't want someone who's, obese. They're like, nah, stop body shaming.
Yeah, I actually forgot to do it for the segment, but that reminds me that a while ago on like April Fool's or something, Tinder was going to put in a height verification thing, and this triggered a lot of guys. Were like, what? How is that? And then people were like, well, what about weight verification? That triggered a lot of women. And it's like, well,
you can do something about your weight.
Exactly, right? And but that was the point. It was like, well, what are you saying? There's expectations on women? It's like, well, those guys have some reasonable expectations, and they seem to be exactly the same expectations that the women have.
Yep.
So, is that wrong? But anyway, moving on, let's go to women's problems with young men. And this is totally legitimate. This is totally fair, right? So I saw this going around, and I think this is a good point. The dating pool for young women is literally porn addicts, sensitive guys who you have to perform constant emotional labor for, narcissistic, if not sociopathic gym bros, emotionally distant manipulators, and performative woke men who still treat women like ass. That's right. Who's to blame for this? It's not the conservatives, is it? It's not the conservatives who are just like, man up, be a man, do the thing, get a job, work hard, be the breadwinner. They didn't create these people, right? They didn't create the porn addicts. They didn't create the emotional guys who think it's okay to cry.
Performative woke men.
Yeah, performative woke men. Not a conservative product, right? The maybe you could say gym bros and emotionally distant manipulators could be possibly, but sure, maybe. But the point is, you're saying, well, where are the family men for the women, right? Where are the upwardly mobile, decently active, good looking guys who are working in jobs and then want to settle down and have family? They've married already, They're married to other women, they're getting on with their lives, and they have no interest in the rest of it. But again, this is a problem for women, right? This isn't just like men are having problems with women who have got unrealistic expectations and have never been asked anything of themselves. This is a real problem, and I am genuinely sympathetic to it. And you can see why, if both sides have had all of these sort of fables told to them that, oh, you don't need to do that, you'll find someone, you'll be fine on both sides, you don't need to do this, you don't do that. It's okay for men to just be addicted to porn or to cry all the time. What woman wants a guy like that? Jordan Peterson says this all the time. Make yourself someone appealing. And this is something that young men need to think about. So look, if you are a porn addict, or if you are crying all the time, or if you're being performatively woke, these are not things that women are looking for. This is not attractive to women, and therefore you have actually, in the sort of great game of dating, have actually essentially abandoned your own dating position. Anything that would have been envious and good to have had about you is being worn away by the constant permissiveness coming out of sort of left-wing culture. It's like, no. You actually have to sit there and establish boundaries for yourself and other people and say, look, I'm not going to be a porn addict. I'm not going to cry all the time. I'm not going to do this, that, and the other, because this is what makes you desirable. If you don't have these attributes, then you're not desirable. And so you're like, I can't find a woman. Well, I'm not surprised. Why would I be surprised? Who is surprised? But and the same thing, of course, goes for women, and we'll go for a woman coping online.
Fertility, you and me, we don't got a long time. My ovaries are over me, but I'ma be just fine. My whole life I've dreaded getting knocked up and pregnant, but now that I give it a try, fertility, you and me, we don't got a long time.
This is what happens. This is what happens when women are told, don't waste your youth having a family, finding a husband, and having getting married, having kids. No. Commit to your career. You sit there and you're in the late 30s, going, well, hang on a second. Now I would really like a child because my biological clock is ticking. There are no suitable men around because they're all degenerate coomers, or they're already married, or they're gay, or whatever. And I just have to make my songs going, I'm okay with the fact that my fertility is over. It's like, are you? Because I don't think you'd make a song like this if you were okay with it. This seems like a massive cope.
Like, my mother's had 3 kids. She's not making songs like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Your mother's actually, doing other things with her life. But that's the point. It's a massive cope, right? And I tell you what, if I became single tomorrow, I would literally not date a woman over 30. I don't care. Because I don't want to have to endure that.
Extremely rude.
No, why? What's rude about that?
Well, I suppose you've already had kids though. So
I've got 3 kids.
Why would the fertility thing be an issue for you?
Well, I just don't want a woman whining about fertility. What
you don't want a woman whining about fertility.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not adverse to having an even bigger brood.
All right, I'm gonna shut up.
What's wrong with that? It's awesome having kids, man. Anyway, so yeah, it could also get worse, right? And it can get worse because you could castrate yourself and pretend to be the other gender. I knew you'd pull that face, right? So this is an article from 2017. There was another article I was looking for that was more recent, but I couldn't find it. And it was just like, why won't anyone date my transgender friend? That's a good question, isn't it? The answer...
Super straight, mate.
Most of the world is super straight, in fact, which is why I got banned from TikTok. But the problem isn't... The problem really is that the very concept of transgenderism is actually you saying there is an established pattern that men and women follow in order to find a mate, right? That's the purpose of gender roles. That's the purpose of all this kind of signaling, the sexual signaling to say, look, I'm healthy, I'm fertile, I'm open to the opportunity for a relationship. I have good attributes of my own. I have appealing qualities. This is what womanliness and manliness is about. It's about showing that you are something desirable and that you are available, to another partner. And so deliberately bunking that trend and deliberately going outside of the boundaries of that and saying, actually, I'm going to smash the gender binary and I'll, not be a woman or a man. It's like, okay, but women and men are actually looking for the opposite sex, the opposite partner.
Yeah, which sort of, if you want to, go for it. I'm very liberal.
Absolutely.
But you can't deny there's going to be a cost.
There are going to be consequences. And we have the numbers from Bethany Grace Howe, who admits that she's transgender and single, and the odds are I'm going to die that way. She says, this might sound brutal, and that people don't want to hear it, although there doesn't seem to be any statistics show how many people as a whole are willing to date transgender people. Less than 1/2 of LGBTQ people say they would be willing to do so. So that's like what, 5% of the population? And then half of that, less than half of that, is prepared to date a trans person. So not easy, right? I can't imagine non-LGBTQ people feel any differently, and that's being charitable, unless they're Liberal Democrats, but we'll get to that in a minute. People don't want to hear that, however. They say, I'm sure there's someone out there for you, and they say, you never know. They say, well, I don't, but I can figure it out, and I have. The reality is this. 37% of LGBTQ couples in my home state of Oregon are married, and again, these are in progressive areas, right? If you were to go to a more socially conservative area, if you end up in Yorkshire or something, I imagine the number of people who are prepared to date or marry a trans person really does plummet,
yeah,
right?
I mean, in the Islamic Yorkshire Dales, I don't
Yeah,
think...
exactly, yeah. In Manchester, Anyway... my odds of getting married again at the age of 50 are 63%, so not exactly wonderful. 13.2% of the American population is women aged 44 to 64, and most people are likely to have dated 4 people seriously before marriage. Less than half of LGBTQ people are willing to date transgenders. Given all that, my odds of finding a lifelong relationship are 0.4%, roughly 1 in 250. Or to put it another way, according to Forbes magazine, the average person has a better chance of marrying a millionaire, which is 1 in 215, than I have of marrying anyone. That's not good, is it? Like the actual numbers. Yeah, you did find it, John. In fact, if you want to get that article up, and this leads them to ending up having to write.
An average woman has a more chance of marrying a millionaire than a transgender person does of marrying anyone.
Yes,
that's the cost.
That's the cost. There is a consequence to everything. If you scroll down a bit on this one, John. Yeah. So this was the article I was actually thinking of, but I couldn't find it. Why can't my famous gender non-conforming friend get laid? Not even get a relationship. Why won't anyone have sex with them? If you can scroll down and see a picture. Down. There were pictures in this.
Yeah, they were. I'm not seeing it.
They're not loading up, it looks like. Oh, there we go. Point proven.
Should we have a
nail on the head?
Should we have a vote in chat?
Yeah, chat. Give me a poll, right? So for I don't know, lady or gentleman on the left with blue lipstick. Let's get a how many burgers out of 12?
Let's do a system. 0 for none, 1 for the guy on the left, 2 for the person in the middle, and 3 for the person on the right. Let's see how the numbers come in.
Yeah.
So
why can't these people find partners? Oh, I don't know. I mean, what are they signaling? Like, what do they want? I have no idea. I guess the person on the right, I guess, is looking for a husband because they're dressed like a woman, right? That's the best guess I can make. The person in the middle, no idea. The person on the left, no idea. I mean, how am I? Let's say I was single and I'm like, ooh, one of these people is a very good-looking person. How do I approach them? You've put up a barrier. I don't know what you want. You're signaling to me this bizarre, crazy, like, clashing cacophony of colors and shapes, and I'm just like, okay, I just don't know. I'm just going to go find someone who looks like a woman.
I love. So we have the chat in of the numbers that most of them are zeros or negative numbers. Of the numbers that aren't that, number 3 seems to be winning. So we have the answer.
See, wearing the dress, it got the best response. Like even though it's a biologically male person,
it's a person with stubble.
But we at least know what they're aiming at, right? They've worn something that's womanly. Okay, maybe it doesn't fit the biology of the thing, but at least I know what they're trying to say. But the other two, what the hell do they want? I don't know. Like, do I think, all right, I'm gonna pour my heart into this person and commit to a lifelong relationship with either of those two?
It's just people on
No way.
The guy on the left, he looks like the Joker. Just the lipstick.
Yeah, the Joker and Harley Quinn there. Like, I mean, just like, and they're like, oh, we can't find love. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all in any way, shape, or form, and that's just the way life is.
I'm sure surely the response is just look at each other and decide if you fall in love.
Exactly. Why don't you date each other? Well, that's an even better question that we're not going to answer now. But interestingly, this, as we said, this is something that the Liberal Democrats might want to email them about, because for some reason YouGov did a poll about the self-reported fantasies broken down by party support, and this was fascinating. Conservatives apparently want to have sex with a sports star. UKIP supporters want to have sex using a vibrator or dildo, which, I mean, is that even a difficult thing to achieve?
I mean, there are a lot of women in UKIP, so maybe it's a little bit biased there.
Yeah, but, like, that's not an unattainable goal.
Yeah.
You can get one off the internet.
I mean, the Labour supporters are really obtainable.
The Labour supporters are obvious virgins. I would like to have sex outdoors, sex with a stranger, sex with someone else's partner, oral sex, passionate kissing. This sounds like something I would have written when I was 15.
Man, I'd love to kiss a girl one day.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Wearing sexy
15-year-old.
outfits. Yeah, exactly. Okay, virgin. The Labour incel demographic is surprising. But the Lib Dem supporters I love the most, right?
I think the Labour Party let you join at like 15 or something stupid.
Doubtless.
So that would explain it.
Doubtless. One day I'd like to hold a girl's hand. Labour supporters.
Like Labour.
But the Liberal Democrat ones are my favourite, right? Because Liberal Democrats, if you've ever met Liberal Democrats, if you've ever encountered any, you'll know that they are very upper middle class, very white, and very isolated from other ethnicities. They live in places like Devon or the Cotswolds or Surrey or something like that. They don't live in Croydon, right?
Very privileged, educated white people.
Absolutely. And I love that they're ones. I'd like to have sex with someone of a different ethnicity. Go on holiday. Go on holiday. You can literally, well, you can't now, but watching someone masturbate, bondage, filming self having sex with someone transgender. Well, there we go.
As well, not just something I do, fantasy.
Yeah. So basically, if you're a transgender person in the UK, join the Liberal Democrats and you might be able to find love.
Actual dating advice for people who are transgender. Yeah,
Yes.
join the Lib Dems.
If you enjoyed this segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can watch the full broadcast live every weekday at 1 p.m. UK time on lotuseaters.com.